Our second guest of Hour 2 is ready to go. We're going to be talking with Mr. Dhiego Lima here shortly. Of course, this interview brought to you by
IntimidationClothing.com,
as well as PatinoDiet.com and Tri-County Cab Company of Peoria, Illinois. We're going to be talking with Dhiego Lima about his fight coming up in July, how the training is going down there in Georgia. And he had a quite successful. Hey, good evening, Dhiego.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, man, just kicking it, having a good time on a Monday night, talking to some of the best fighters in the world, and, hey, we got you on the line. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. That's great, man. Awesome. Thank you. I'm doing really good. Thank you.
For sure, man. Well, listen, of course, you got me, Big Perm, and I wanted to bring in my co-host. I got here with me Dave, the Butcher Clifford. Dave, are you there?
Yes, welcome to the show, Dhiego. I'm looking forward to learning about what you've got going on in your career, when you're going to be fighting, and how you get ready.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, Dhiego, I was,
Go ahead. Sorry.
My bad. I was just doing some show research, and, the last time I saw you fight, watching video of it was in the MFC. I mean, you had a successful run up there, and then you just recently had a win over Mr. Carroll at Wild Bill's Fight Night. And my producer, Chris, tells me you got a fight coming up in July down there in Georgia, so I was hoping you could give me some more details about that, man.
Yeah, man, I'm fighting. I've been fighting locally, since the MFC contract is over. I've just been fighting local because, I had lost one. I had lost one in MFC, and then I came back and won the other one. And
right.
So, I'm just trying to get a nice little win streak going. So I fought here last time over Roger Carroll. I TKO'd him in the third round, but it was a real tough fight, man. Dude came to bang, and, man, we went at it. It was a great fight.
Sweet.
And then now I got one coming up in the same place. It's July 6th. It's over here in Wild Bill's Fight Night in Duluth. So, looking forward. I don't have an opponent yet, but, they'll bring somebody in good to fight. And, it's just I'm looking forward to fighting again and, having another win.
Well, and I follow along on Facebook, both you and your brother. And for those listening that don't know, your brother is Dhiego Lima, the Bellator fighter. Quite successful career over there. I see you guys train quite often together, man. And I wanted to ask you, growing up as a kid, have you guys always been fighting, man? I mean, or is this just, you started fighting each other since you got into the MMA?
Man, not really. We say that all the time, but people really don't believe us. They're like, really, But we've been fighting, man. We never got into a fight growing up, Never really did. We were never into fighters, and then when we were teenagers, that's where we started. We used to watch a lot of Van Damme movies. And, it was a kickboxing and everything. And then one day, man, we just watched Vanderlei Silva, and then that was it. My brother was like, oh, I got to get into it.
Sweet.
And, he started training. And, at the time I was still in school, I had promised my parents I was going to finish school, and I was playing football at the time. I was playing soccer. So, I was pretty much an athlete in high school. So I stayed, until I finished high school. But my brother at the time, he started training. He was 14. So by the time he was 17, man, my mom had to sign permission slip for him to fight already. And, I hadn't really been training that either. I'd go a couple of times with him, but that's when it all started, But after I graduated high school, I was really big. I had football power, and, that was it, man. He got me into it, and, it stuck. That was it.
Man, that's awesome, dude. That's a great way of looking. So you didn't, you guys just, man, that's a sweet, and that's what's cool about this new generation of fighters that we get to talk to a lot. I mean, what we watched, that people that weren't necessarily always wrestling or always in the boxing gym. I just watched a lot of movies myself, and I loved the ring announcer part, you know what I mean? Like, I always watched Bruce Buffer and Michael Buffer and Jimmy Lennon Jr. and, all the Howard Finkel, and all the different announcers. And that's my part now, you know what I mean? And I love it.
Yeah, so, it's awesome. Everybody's got a different part they love, and, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I'm a little brittle, so I can't be out there fighting, man. I got to look good in the suit, homie.
That's right. Hey.
So it's cool to hear that that's how you got into it. And what gym did you guys go to, or did you just start, where did your brother start training at? How did he get into it so young?
He started training with Junior Asuncion, Rafael Asuncion. He started with all those guys. The Asuncion brothers.
Sweet. Yeah,
because at the time they were, Freddie was teaching capoeira, and then Junior and Rafael was fighting, and they used to be our neighbors. We had a friend that was their neighbor, so we would always see them. And, one day my brother asked him, and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll come pick you up and bring you to the gym. And after that was it, man. The one time he went, he was just like, I got to do it, So my mom would bring him all the time. At first they were against it, but, once they saw his talent, they were like, oh, okay, this is real,
Sweet.
So it was awesome.
And
then when I finished high school, he was still training with them, and then that's when Jucão moved over, and, Jucão kind of took over. He started training under Jucão, and then I stayed with Junior for a while, and then, finally the gym didn't go as well, and, we still train together, the professional, we still train, and in the mornings now it's pretty much everybody together. We got the Asuncion brothers, we got the Lima brothers, we got Brian Stan, we got so many talent out here now, and it's amazing. Everybody wants to come train with us, in the mornings. It's just amazing the type of talent we have here now.
Wow. Just iron sharpening iron, man, all day long, huh?
Yeah.
For sure. Well, Dhiego, after your contract, was up with the MFC, there was no offer to fight with them anymore? They just didn't want you anymore? What happened there?
They really wanted to re-sign me, but I had made a pact. I was like, listen, after this contract's over, I am not signing with anyone unless it's with the UFC. I'll still fight for them if they need somebody to fill in. I'll still fight for him. We're still in good terms, but
okay,
that's
kind of what I was wondering. All right.
Yeah.
And I had read an article earlier in the week too about I forgot where the hell it was at. They were talking to you about Bellator and maybe that being a possible option, and you had mentioned that they just hold their fighters too long, and I just was kind of curious if maybe maybe some of the recent press may have also swayed your decision.
The recent press and what? I'm sorry.
Well, with Bellator, lately, the Eddie Alvarez situation, and then there's a few other fighters that had, not so nice things to say. I was just kind of wondering if maybe that bad press, as of late, may have also kind of altered your decision with Bellator.
Yes, it really has. It really has. There's no reason. If somebody's contract's over, and they want to go somewhere else, it's like let them do what they want to do. If they stay there, they're not going to be happy. So why fight about it? Why take somebody to court? It's just, I think that's just silly, man. The guy wants to go, the contract's over. Okay, let him go. You got so much more talent. That's just one guy, man. They got somebody. They still have the guy that just beat him for the title. And there's so much talent in the division, and it's like, of course it's gonna suck to lose a guy, but man, come on, believe in all your other fighters that you have, and all your superstars that you have. It's just, I just don't see why you go to all this trouble, And in the end, if Eddie Alvarez lose or whatever, he's still not going to be happy, He's still going to find a way to go to the UFC because that's where he wants to go. And
For sure.
I just don't get it. Tell the truth, I just don't get it. I don't know if it's money or I just don't get it. And I never in my life want to be a part of that.
And that's the ugly side of the fight game that people don't see. Is the business side, and when the lawyers get involved, it gets real ugly, man.
It does, exactly, it does. And I never want to go through that. I just had a saying, me and my brother always said, my brother always told me, he just had a vision. He just always told me, he's like, man, you're going to get in the UFC before me. Ever since I started fighting, he was already fighting at the time, and he just always told me, he's like, I just really believe you're going to get in the UFC before me. And, you know, and I kind of stick to that, and I'm real close right now. You know, I'm 8-1 right now, and, you know, all my fights, I only had one fight go to decision. I finished all my fights. You know, I've been in the third round. I've been in tough fights, and I'm ready, man. If they call me today, you know, to fight tomorrow, I'll go. You know, I'm ready. You know, I believe I can beat a lot of their guys, and I'm just waiting out, man. I'm gonna keep fighting local, and I'm just waiting. You know, I really believe it's gonna be by the end of this year. I'll be in there.
Well, and let me ask you this then: which weight class are you shooting for, and what are you gonna? I mean, have you talked to somebody, or are there some people in contact with you? Have they told you to go get a few quality wins, or go get a couple of streaks going?
Exactly. It's not really about the quality wins right now because I already have the quality wins. It's about, you know, having a nice streak going in. You know, because they look at that a lot. You know, I've had my quality wins already. You know, I've had some tough-ass fights, and
sure,
you know, they're there, and they just want to see a nice little win streak again. And, you know, and I got no problem with that. You know, I'm working with Robert Revita now. He's Brian Sten's manager as well. And, you know, he's really taking care of me. He's guiding me to the steps to get there, you know.
Cool. That's important,
you know, I got Jacone as well. Jacone's always on the phone with them, Juan Carnero. And, you know, it's just everybody's on. I got all my people, you know, all my fans on Twitter, tweeting Dan White all the time. And I feel like the time is coming, you know. I feel it. Like, I've had my tough fights. I'm ready. I've been training real hard, and I feel it, you know, it's coming. It's going to be real soon, you know.
Sweet. And what weight class are you fighting at? I didn't get to look
I'm a welterweight.
A Welt 70?
Yeah, 170. I haven't fought middleweight since I was an amateur, so.
Awesome, man. I was hoping that that's going to be great, too. The welterweight division needs you, brother. I believe you. I think you're right.
I know, man. I'm ready. I'm telling you, you know, they're just trying to fight, you know, Brandon Parrish here. I've been following him. You know, I was supposed to, they had offered me to fight him, but he was on like a 1 week's notice. He's 9-1, and, you know, but his streak is pretty nice. He's got an 8-win streak, and, you know, they just signed him, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, come on, man, you know. Yeah, I know he deserves it, but I was like, man, sign me as well, you know, come on. But, you know, I just got to be patient, man. I'm patient, and, you know, I'm just going to keep training, and whoever they put in front of me right now, I will beat. You know, I'm really confident right now, you know, just been training way too hard, and it's just, I'm going to keep going, you know.
Well, Dhiego, I had a couple of fan questions roll in, and you kind of answered one of them, but I wanted to read it anyway. This came from Blake in Lake Havasu, Arizona. He sent in, he said, you have a very impressive career, nice record, and some tough opponents. He asked if you were in negotiations with someone like the UFC or Bellator, which, you know, you kind of already answered, but I just wanted to make sure that I read that out there to you.
Okay, yeah, you know, we're working on it, you know, we're working on it. If I do sign anywhere, it's going to be with the UFC, you know, just so everybody knows. If I fight somewhere, it's going to be a one-fight deal. And, you know, I'm not signing with anybody else unless it's for the UFC.
All right, and then I had another question come in from Sam in Woodstock, Illinois. And he says, what part of your training has your trainer, and then I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I believe it's spelled M-O-A-N, unless he made a typo. But he's asking that particular trainer, Moan, I think is how you say it, really helped with. Like what area? There you go. Okay, maybe it's supposed to be an R-O-A-N?
Yeah, an R. It's just an R.
Okay, he probably mistyped it, but he was asking about him and, you know, what areas did he help you with? And, you know, where did you feel lost at and, you know, now feel most confident?
Wrestling, man. I feel like I can fight a Division I wrestler right now and beat them. You know, the only loss I had, I got out-wrestled pretty much for 3 rounds. And that's one thing we've been focusing on, man. We have Raymond Jordan with us now. He was Jordan Bro's backup in the Olympics. So you can look at his resume, man. The dude is a beast, and, you know, he's a fantastic wrestler, and he's with us right now, and we have learned so much from him. It's amazing. You know, he has taken all of our wrestling to a whole different level, you know. So that's one area, and you guys will see when my brother fights Ben Ashford again. You know, it's going to be a whole different story, you know. The guys we've been working on wrestling a lot, and offensive and defensive, you know. We really don't use our offensive because, you know, we love striking, but, you know, if we have to right now, we will, you know. So that's one part of the game that we're really focusing on because really, if you think about it, you know, if you don't have that part, you're really not going to go anywhere. You know, in the UFC, that's always it happens. They get a young guy.
Not in the welterweight division.
Exactly, especially in the welterweight division. It happens all the time. They get a good guy, you know, they fight here, boom, boom, boom. Let's say like Eric Silva. He knocks one dude out, knocks somebody out here, and then boom, you know, you're going to get a legit wrestler. Like he got John Fitch, and boom, he got out-wrestled. So, you know, I feel like that's the most important part of the game. Yeah, exactly. He got Fitch. So that's the part that's really important, offensive and defensive. So we're really focusing on that because I know once I win a few fights in the UFC, that's pretty much how they test you, you know. They go, hey, if I get a wrestler, see what you can do. Boom, they throw one at you. So when that opportunity comes in the UFC, you know, I want to be ready for it, and I really believe we are now. So.
Well, if you get to the top of the welterweight division, you know damn sure you're going to get wrestled.
Oh yeah, big time.
Hopefully you don't fall asleep laying down against a guy like that. Not you personally,
know, right?
But
it's like, oh man, some of these guys. But I love it now, you know, like Ellenberger and, you know, like all the Tony Hendricks, they're striking too,
McDonald.
Man.
Don't sleep on my boy. Don't sleep on my boy McDonald.
Exactly. Yeah, Roy, they're the only, like, boring ones and not fun to watch, you know. It's like Roy right now, Mike Pierce, and, you know, there's only a few now, so it's good, you know, it's good. They're getting rid of them.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man, that boxing bell we just heard tells me we got just a couple minutes left with you. And before I turn it over to Perm for you to give shout-outs, I got a fun question.
All right.
And that is, if there were tag team MMA, who would you and your brother like to team up against?
Let's see. Probably the Diaz brothers, you know. That would be badass.
Wow!
Nate has fought in 170 as well, so, you know, I think we'll get after it, man. That would be awesome.
Wow! That's great, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm smoking right now.
Oh, yeah, man.
That'd be a smoking fight.
Exactly. I'm a bigger fan of them. You know, I'm a real big fan of them. They always come to fight, and, you know, you can't ask for a better fight than that, man. You just go in, you know you're going to get in a fight, you know. And that's how me and my brother are, you know. We don't like to be wrestled. We don't like none of that, man. We go to fight, and, you know, let's fight. And I'm sure that would be amazing, you know, if we could do that.
Wow. What a great answer.
Hell yeah, man. We got to get that inside the fantasy cage soon. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah, right?
Well, Dhiego, listen, with the last little bit of time that we got, man, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to, you know, thank any sponsors, throw out any shout-outs, and, of course, tell our listeners how they can follow along, you know, with your career.
Of course, yeah, man. I just want to thank all the fans, man, because right now that's what's getting through me. You know, I'm not worried about sponsors right now. I'm not worried about anything right now, man. I just want to get to the top, and I just want to get in the UFC, man. And the fans has been helping me out a lot, you know. Just make sure you keep following me on Twitter, DHLima121, and, you know, keep tweeting those guys. You know, I'm ready, man. I trained hard, and, you know, with the fans' help, man, I'm sure they're going to get me there. And, you know, I'm real excited. You know, just want to thank all my training partners and, you know, everyone at our gym. And, you know, it's that. You know, they're going to be hearing something big from me real soon. I really believe it. And, you know, I want to thank you guys for having the opportunity, man, to put me on the show. And, you know, you guys are great. Thanks a lot.
Hey, for sure, Dhiego. And, again, for me and my co-host, Dave the Butcher, and my producer, the network, Chris Maltsburger, we just want to say thanks to you, man, for taking the time out of your night. I know it's kind of getting late for you. We've enjoyed the chat, and we will definitely talk to you again soon, sir.
Definitely. Oh, no worries at all. It's not late at all. Thank you again. And, you know, anytime, guys, just give me a call anytime. Thank you again.
Hey, quite welcome, man. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Thank you.